Is it going to be as private as cash? No. So a digital currency will never be as anonymous and as protecting of privacy in many respects as cash.
CBDC system is a complete control system. So back to the concept of going direct. Now the central bank is going to go directly into your bank account and control it.
Mark my words. This way it's going to happen. We're going to have a banking collapse. Because there's a banking collapse, that will cause the dollar to skyrocket in inflation, possibly hyperinflation. If you want to buy something, well, you got $100. Yeah, I'll buy that for $100, and it might be something that was worth $4 before the collapse. And people will pay it. Hyperinflation will go crazy. The Fed will say, look, we got to stop this. Inflation is too much. We're going to give you a digital currency. It's already in a bank with your name. All you have to do is sign in, and it will give you the money, and that's what's going to control inflation.
Now the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have announced plans to develop a new currency.
I'm pleased to join you at the FedNow Early Adopter Workshop. Together, we'll be ready to launch the FedNow service between May and July of 2023.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression.
Now, because when the FedNow account is fully in effect and cash is gone, you've been hacked. Remember, Jane, we talked about, I tried to stop this by stopping the VA from selling military records around the world because some of our key players in the intelligence community took their little BlackBerry phones over to China and downloaded the encryption, so everything in America has been hacked by China, and they send it to 13 other nations. It goes through the major computer in Ohio, which is now in Utah. Go ahead, Jane. And it's gone. So, senators introduced a bill to create a digital ID. Remember what they did to the Jews in WW2? You were at Auschwitz, so you got an A, 6, 5, 1, 2, 3. Remember how they used to do it? Well, instead, we're going to have the back of our right hand. We're going to have those, what do they call it?
They're going to inject?
No. You know, the UPC codes?
Yeah.
That's what they're going to put on the back of your hand. Here, on your forehead and your right hand. Instead of this, it will be an invisible number. Oh, and you'll line up to get it too, because you won't be able to buy or sell without it if the system goes that far.
That's an if.
It's an if. The Verichip that you put in the hand here, that's not a Verichip, that's Dupuytren syndrome. The VA wanted to watch that tumor grow 30 years ago. Anyway, when they put the Verichip in your hand to run it over, well, if you work in naval munitions, you blow the ship up because the vibration of the Verichip blows ammunition up, bullets, everything. So you're going out to the rifle range to go shoot, and you got a box of 22s, boop, the box blows up because of the Verichip. That's what 3 women found out in the U.S. Navy. They put that Verichip in the hull of a ship, and boom, they had a heck of an explosion. It was not exposed to anyone, but Carl Sanders, who I met before he died, developed it for the shipping of marijuana from the Golden Triangle in Vietnam to the United States to track it, and then they found out it blew things up. So then they came out with the UPC code, the lines. You know, the 6, 6, and 6 in the middle, that's the UPC code. 666, baby. Now I want to duplicate Lucifer like a bunch of little imps running around. So they want a digital ID for everyone, and that was brought up in the Bilderberg meeting last year, June 2 to 5. Remember that? Washington, D.C.? But there wasn't anybody in Washington, D.C., so it wasn't in Washington, D.C., because D.C.'s been abandoned since 45 left. So, and I hope you caught our video on YouTube about 5G. That's all I'm going to say. And on Before It's News, which censored the heck out of it. I cannot believe how censored most of these news.
M.O.T.B has worked in Silicon Valley for 28 years. His background includes work on deep technologies, that are involved in the new digital prison system being designed by big tech. In 2020, he moved to Montana and became a whistleblower, warning the public of the very real threat about to be unleashed upon us all, known by many as the Mark of the Beast system. Aman explains how accepting the digital ID is the basic premise behind it all.
So by default, a digital identity implies that you are always in a digital prison. Since you have a digital identity and you're in a prison, you are by default a criminal. So we don't trust you.
Just like the old system, this new one is also voluntary. And you are supposed to know that it's a digital prison that you are voluntarily signing up for. And the reason for this is because in this new system, having a digital ID will be proof that you are a criminal. Because having a digital ID means that you are in a digital prison. And because you accepted it, you must be a criminal.
Have a digital health certificate acknowledged by WHO if you have been vaccinated or tested properly, then you can move around.
This week, WHO member states are hosting discussions on amendments to the international health regulations.
COVID it accelerates the process of digitalization and automatization. It legitimizes the deployment of mass surveillance, and it makes surveillance go under your skin.
The nature of this CBDC, what is it actually going to look like? They never talk about that. Right. But I heard one European central banker tell me what it's going to look like, and it was around this large, and would be implanted.
It doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.